All right, well, welcome back. This is Kim Reeder, and I'm here with my friend Kevin Clayson. Yesterday, we talked about the tale of two men, and we talked about man number two and man number one. And in this segment, Kevin's going to teach us how to become man number one with a simple flip of the gratitude switch. I didn't show you his awesome book, but this is what it is. He finally gave me one, and it's actually signed. I had to wait for a really long time to get it. So
yes, you did.
Here's the signature. You're totally making it up to me, that long wait, by how great the book is and by coming on and doing this interview with me.
Oh, thanks, Kim.
I'm just going to turn it right back over to you so you can teach us how to flip that switch.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome back. So I'm super pumped to be with you again. So yesterday, we talked a little bit about man number one and man number two. The reason I kind of started my book with man number one and man number two is I wanted to teach folks what I had to figure out, that the same life that you have right now can feel magically different when you shift the perspective or the lens through which you're viewing the life that you have. And it took me a while to kind of figure that out. And when I realized that gratitude was the big major difference maker for me, it kind of became like this brand new life. And I want to share a little bit about what happened to me to get me to the point where I realized I had to do something different. And then I'm going to share with you what the actual 4-step formula is that can literally change the trajectory of any moment and ultimately of your entire life. So when I was really kind of in the thick of it as man number two, I got to think about it. So it would have been 2011. So my son was born in 2011. So I have 3 kids, as you saw from the picture yesterday. I've got my youngest who's turning 4 this week, who's awesome. His name's Brody. I've got my 6-year-old Braxton, and then I've got my awesome little 8-year-old Brooklyn, and my amazing guy Braxton, who's now 6 years old. When he was born, he was in the NICU for about 2 weeks, and he had a collapsed lung, and he was on a ventilator, and it was really hard for his mom and I. And what ended up happening is around that time in my career, our company that I'd started with my partners, it had been growing, and we had this sort of national presence. And so I travel all over the country, and I was speaking in New York and Chicago and LA and Florida and all these places. And I know that sounds glamorous. Let me assure you, it is not, okay? Airplanes all look the same, and hotels all feel the same after a while, and you can only eat so much fast food. So, but I was traveling a lot, and it was kind of exhausting because I don't know if you've ever traveled a lot, but you know, it can take its toll. And so Braxton had been in the hospital for a couple weeks. I didn't travel during that time. And then when we got him home, you know, I started traveling again. And because my wife and I were so concerned for him, anytime he would give the littlest peep during the night, we'd jump right out of bed and we'd try to make sure that he was okay. And so, you know, if you've never raised kids, and we'd already raised one, we should have known better. But what we taught Braxton is that if he gives the littlest peep, we will be right there with the bottle and to hold him and to swaddle him. And so he would never sleep through the night. For like the first year of his life, he didn't sleep through the night. And what would happen is I'd go travel and I'd be all tired, but I'd come home and I'd try to be the noble, awesome husband. And I'd say, honey, you sleep. I will get up with the child. And so what would happen is I'd be up every couple hours with Braxton. Then I'd go into work, and we had this guy that we'd hired for our company who did not like me. And I didn't really like him. And it was just kind of, we did this a lot. And so I'd go to work and I was unhappy. And I was unhappy that our company wasn't growing fast enough. And then I was unhappy that I had to go travel. And then I'd be tired when I travel, and I'd come home and I'd be tired because I'd be up all night with Braxton. And I got to this point one day when I got in my car and I drove to the office, and I was sitting in my car looking down at the office that I was supposed to go into that day. And I just had this feeling of, I just wanted it to all be over with. I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't want to go to work, and I didn't want to be tired anymore, and I didn't want to travel anymore. And I was so unhappy. I was right. It was really kind of the pinnacle of being man number two. I was so unbelievably depressed and dissatisfied. And I sat there in my car looking down, just thinking about how miserable my life was. But really, on paper, you guys, I had this awesome job. We were growing a company. I was traveling all over. I had 2 kids. My son was healthy. My daughter was healthy. Had this awesome wife. I mean, we had a home. On paper, everything was great, but I couldn't see the joy in it. And as I sat there in my car, I had this thought come to me. And it was a thought that I'd heard from an individual that I'd heard speak at a conference a couple years prior. And he talked about doing something that you guys are going to be doing with a gratitude journal. And he talked about keeping a gratitude journal. I had this thought come to me like, gosh, Kev, you're not happy with where you're at. So you have to do something different. And I've come to realize that we all have a rock bottom in life. But the rock bottom for me is going to be different than you. I do a lot of work with an addiction and rehab recovery center. Those folks have different rock bottoms than I've had. And I mean, we all go through that moment where we just kind of don't know what to do. And we either decide to give up or we finally find the strength to do the thing we've always kind of known we should do. And that was this moment for me. And so this moment comes and that thought comes into my mind, gratitude. And I'm like, what? Gratitude? How could that possibly change my life? But then in the next thought, I'm thinking, but I got to do something because I'm not happy with where I'm at. So I started to go through the process of doing a gratitude journal. And I'm not real good with gratitude journaling. That's like my confession there. I spend more time apologizing to my journal than I do actually writing in it. Like I always like half the entries are like, sorry, it's been so long since I last wrote. I don't know what that is. Like I want to read my apologies for the rest of, from like my posterity needs to see that. But anyway, I was trying, and here's what I found is when I would gratitude journal, it would at least put me in a different state of mind and it would kind of help me. But I wasn't seeing the shift in my life as quickly as I kind of needed. And so I started to go on a hunt for doing other things. And I got my phone and I put a reminder in my phone that would go off every day and it would say, be thankful today. And so I'd go, okay, sure, I'll be thankful sometime today. And then the day would end and I'd go, oh, I forgot to be thankful, you know? So that wasn't really working. So then I decided, well, maybe what I'll do is when the reminder goes off right then, I'll sit where I am and I'll go, okay, what can I be thankful for? My phone's telling me to be thankful. I'm thankful that I have a pen and I can write. And I'm glad that I know how to read. I would just try to find something, right, to be thankful for. And that started to help, but it still wasn't the shift that I needed. So I went to the journal that I'd written in when I heard that guy speak a couple years earlier. And you know what he'd said? He didn't just say, keep a gratitude journal. You know what he told me to do? He said, journal for 21 days about a frustration that you have and then how to feel gratitude for that frustration. When I went back and read that in the journal, I was like, what? Like, you guys, I had never considered that it was even possible to be thankful for things when it seems like the sky is falling. I had no idea that if something wasn't going perfectly in my life, that I could still be thankful for it. That was like a brand new revelation to me. And I went, oh man, the other stuff I'm doing isn't working, so I'll try that. So what I started to do is every day, I'd get a little frustration that would happen. Somebody would cut me off on the freeway. Or, you know, I'd go into the gas station to get my favorite drink and it was out. Or it was, you know, my kids would come running down the hall and accidentally, you know, step on my toe or whatever it was, right? There's all these little things that happen during our day that we can kind of frustrate us. And a lot of us don't realize that if we don't deal with those frustrations as they come and actually become present and aware that we're frustrated and actually meet it head on and do something with it, all those frustrations can compound and we can start to go, oh my gosh, life is so hard. But really all it is we're just not taking these tiny little individual moments to do something different with the thoughts that we're having and being aware of those thoughts and how to do something with those thoughts. Well, what I found is when I would get frustrated and I would take that moment and find a way to be thankful for something inside that frustration, you guys, my life started to change dramatically. It was like a whole new man. And what it felt like, you guys, is when I would take that moment of frustration and anger and I would go, okay, wait a second, I'm frustrated. And I would just, you know, think about something to be thankful for. I felt like I was flipping this switch inside. It felt light. Before it was dark, and then it was like it felt light inside and I felt different. And so I started to just call it flipping my gratitude switch. And I went and I ended up, here, I'll show you. I ended up, where are they? I went and got some gratitude light switch covers made. And I started to put them up in my office and at home. And it was kind of this reminder that I could do something in an instant to sort of change the way I feel. Then when I got to the point where I never really thought I'd write a book, this was really all just for me. This was never for anybody but me. And I started to share it, you know, the company that Kim mentioned yesterday that, you know, we kind of got introduced to. I would do some training and some speaking and these things that were changing my life started to kind of just happen. And I would share it. And pretty soon people were saying, oh my gosh, Kev, you need to put that in a book. And I never intended on writing a book. And when I sat down to write the book, I wrote A Tale of Two Men and I kept going. I went, what is it that I'm actually doing inside? What is the actual process I'm going to that's changing my life? And I came to realize I was repeating the same steps. And it just so happens that those steps, I mean, seriously, this is such a unbelievable, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in divinely choreographed instances of our life. And this was such a cool thing. I realized that the 4 steps go along with the letters FLIP. And if I just do those 4 steps, when I'm frustrated, oh my gosh, life changes. So here's what I want to do. I want to share with you those 4 steps, okay? So step number 1 goes along with the letter F, and it stands for find the frustration. So to give you an example, I don't know why, but I stub my toe a lot. There's so many mornings I wake up and I get out of bed. I've had the same bed for the last 8 years, but I stub my toe all the time. And I stub my toe and I used to get so mad and I get so angry and I'd be mad at the bed and mad at everything. And then I would start my day and I was just angry at the world. And so instead, I started to take that moment and do something different. So I'd stub my toe. See, here's what would happen. I'd stub my toe. I'd be mad. I'd go into the hallway. Then I'd step on a Lego. Then I was really furious. Then I'd get in the shower and I was mad that there wasn't any hot water. And then I'd come out and my kids would come running down the hall to give me a big hug and they would hit me just right so that it hurt me or knock the wind out of me or something. And I'd be mad at them. And I would just start the day with so much frustration and anger. And so I started to change that because I came to realize if I can change a moment, I'm more likely to change the next moment and the next moment. And all of a sudden now I can shift in a moment the trajectory of my life and put me on a new path. It's kind of like what I'm going to teach you with these 4 steps is it's kind of like a train track. And it's kind of like, when the train is going to go this way or that way, you can kind of shift the track and it goes on down this path, or you shift it this way and it goes down this path. What I came to realize is when I flip the gratitude switch and I go through these 4 steps, the path that I was going to go on that was angry, all of a sudden I flip that, I switch that pathway and I'm on this totally different trajectory. And so what began to happen is I'd stub my toe and go, I'm so frustrated I stubbed my toe. But I tell myself, Kev, flip the gratitude switch. F, what's F? F is you find the frustration. So how do I find the frustration in getting my toe stubbed? I go, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated. Oh, okay, why am I frustrated? You got to ask yourself that question. So often we just feel frustrated, but we don't even know why. If you can take a moment and step back and actually ask yourself the question, why am I frustrated? It can create such unbelievable clarity for you because a lot of us just don't do that. So I would stub my toe and I go, oh, I'm so frustrated. Okay, why am I frustrated? I'm frustrated because my toe hurts. I'm frustrated that I stubbed my toe. See, that's such a simple step, but what it does is now that I'm aware of why I'm frustrated, now I have the ability to do the next little thing, which is to do something with this information that I have now of why I'm frustrated. So then you move to step L. L stands for look for what's awesome. Look for what's awesome. So you find the frustration, then you look for what's awesome. So what would happen is I'd stub my toe. Oh, I'm so angry. Why am I frustrated? Frustrated because I stubbed my toe and it hurts. Okay, that's the frustration. Looking for what's awesome is taking that same frustration and looking for something embedded in that frustration that can be awesome. So what could possibly be awesome about stubbing my toe? I mean, really, right? When I go and I speak on this, I love to ask the question to the audience because they demonstrate the flip formula in real life. Because what happens, I'll ask that question, what could be good or awesome about me stubbing my toe? And it'll always be silent for a couple seconds. And then after about 5 or 10 seconds, one person will raise their hand and they'll think of something. They'll say, oh, that you have a toe. And then another person will raise their hand and will say that you can feel pain. Another person will raise their hand that you have a bed. Another person that you have a home. Another person that you have breath in your lungs. And pretty soon, everybody's raising their hands because what happens is what I did for them in that moment, actually what they did for them, not I. I gave them the suggestion to become aware that you find the frustration, but then you take that train track, boop, and you begin to look for what's awesome as opposed to focus on what's bad. So when you look for what's awesome, your brain starts to make these new connections. and your brain starts to look for more and more awesome stuff. It's actually something called the virtuous cycle. It's the opposite of what we've heard of sometimes called the vicious cycle. So your brain goes down this road and it starts to think of all the awesome things. So you find the frustration, become aware of why you're frustrated, then you look for what's awesome. Okay, what's awesome? That my toe hurts. I'm thankful. I've got this toe. That's awesome. I've got feet. That's awesome. Because I think of my friend who will never feel his toes ever again because he's in a bed for the rest of his life. And I can think of him and I can think, man, I'm so glad that I have legs and I can breathe, I'm alive. And I look in the bed and I see my wife and I can be so glad that I have her. She's awesome. And our bed is in our home and we have a home. And I think of all these things. So now all of a sudden I've shifted the path. Then you move to step I, which is to install or initiate gratitude. I want you to think of it like this. If you want to download an awesome game for your iPhone, your iPad, your Android device, whatever it is, where do you go? You go to some sort of an app store. You find what you want. You hit a button, and then it comes from outer space somehow, and it magically appears right here, and it's real, and it's tangible, and you can use it. See, step I is doing that. You install or initiate gratitude by doing this. You use language, because see, words are powerful. And what words have the ability to do is words have the ability to give form to the formless. So words have the ability to make something real or tangible that before was intangible. So if I'm frustrated, I'm so frustrated to stub my toe. Why am I frustrated? I'm frustrated because it hurts. Okay, what could be awesome about that? Man, I've got a toe, I've got a foot, I've got breath in my lungs, I have this bed, I have my wife. I go all through all these things. Now in step I, you use language and you begin to now say the words or think the words, I'm so thankful for, and then you fill in the blank with those things that are awesome. Right? You know what? Okay. I'm thankful I have a toe. I'm thankful I can feel pain. I'm thankful I have air in my lungs. I'm thankful for my bed. I'm thankful for my wife. I'm so thankful for our house. I'm thankful for my kids. What happens when you use those words, and you maybe even felt it as you're listening, as I go through in that repetition of what I'm thankful for, I feel different inside because you guys, you're literally hardwired. Like your body will make you feel awesome when you choose gratitude inside of a frustration. And it actually immediately moves you to step P, which is power up with gratifuel. So gratitude fuel, because gratitude fuels life. And what happens is when you go, I'm so thankful for, and you say the stuff that was awesome inside of the frustration, your body changes because it releases this thing called dopamine. And dopamine makes you feel awesome. If you've ever gone and done a service project, and maybe going into the service project, you're like, I don't want to do the service project. I just want to stay home and watch Netflix. But you do it, you go, and you're like, this actually kind of feels amazing. I kind of like this. I want to do more. Or you see somebody that is helping somebody else, or you go help somebody else. You feel different inside. There's a reason for that. Your body is releasing dopamine, which is the reward chemical, which makes you feel awesome. And what happens is, if I take that frustration, I find the frustration. Oh, I'm frustrated. Why am I frustrated? I'm frustrated. My toe hurts. Okay, what could be awesome? It's awesome that I've got a toe and I've got, breath in my lungs and I have these legs. I'm so thankful for my toe. I'm so thankful to have breath in my lungs. I begin to feel different. And here's the cool thing. It just fuels me forward because now I just feel different. I'm on a different path. And now that fuels me all the way until I step on the Lego. And then when I step on the Lego, I go through it all over again. Oh, I'm frustrated. Why am I frustrated? Because my foot hurts. Hey, at least I have a foot. I'm thankful for my foot. I begin to feel different. And then that fuels me until the very next frustration. So here's the cool thing. We can take the seemingly insignificant little moments throughout the day and do something with them, isolate them, become aware why we're frustrated, ask the question why we're frustrated, look for something awesome embedded inside the frustration, begin to feel thankful for that thing that's awesome inside of the frustration, and our body changes and it fuels us forward. And here's the cool thing. If you do that one little frustration at a time, it's different than writing in a gratitude journal. A gratitude journal is a great place to start. But a gratitude journal means I'm going to find something to be thankful for and I'm going to write about it once a day, which you should do. It's a great practice. But think of how much cooler it'll be even when throughout the day these little frustrations come up and you choose to feel different about that frustration with this little formula. I promise you, it will feel like you're flipping an internal switch. It will feel like you're no longer in a dark room, but it's a beautiful, bright, vibrant room, and you'll shift these glasses on and everything you see will look and be different because you flipped the gratitude switch and you changed your body. And over time, your brain starts to change and it starts to rewire and it starts to seek out those awesome feelings that you get by feeling gratitude. And that will change your entire perspective on everything and will ultimately change your life. I can tell you that because it has changed mine. And so far, we are seeing it change countless lives all across the world. We've sold books in nearly 30 countries, which is unbelievable to me. And I'm so thankful for that. And you know what? Everybody's the same at our core. We all need to have this idea of feeling gratitude and a side of frustrations, and it will change the life that we are currently living into one that we are currently thrilled to have.
Thank you so much, Kevin. That was awesome. And you nailed all the points I really want these kids to get. We talk a ton in my class about naming things. I love that you brought that up because if you can't name it, you can't do anything with it. So I love that that's your first step.
Awesome.
Find that frustration, name it. Thank you so much. I hope that you guys will take this opportunity that we're doing this 30-day gratitude journal to not just be thankful because I made you do a gratitude journal, but really power up with that gratitude fuel and Gratifuel. Hashtag Gratifuel. And let this really turn you into man number one, especially in times when you're feeling like man number two. So thank you so much. Another big round of applause for Kevin. I really appreciate you.
Oh, it is my honor and pleasure. You kids watching this, you're awesome. Continue to be awesome. You got an awesome teacher with Kim. So thank you so much. Appreciate being here.
Awesome. Thank you.